All right, so let us get started.
I hope my screen is visible, even if I present this.
Yes, I'm able to see it.
Okay, so we have prepared this presentation, which in which we'll discuss about various robotic competitions, with main focus on marine robotics as such. So we'll be talking about various competitions conducted by RoboNation. I I hear a lot of echo.
That might be from mine. I'll mute.
So RoboNation is a non-profit organization which started in 2009 with support from AUVSI, which is Association of Unmanned Vehicle System International, and SolidWorks is also one of their founding members. And they conduct around 9 robotics competitions across marine robotics, aerial robotics, and terrestrial robotics. And we'll be mainly talking about the marine robotics competitions. In that, we have Sea Glide, Roboboard, Robotics, Sea Perch, and RoboSub. So RoboSub is about making an AUV, and it has a bunch of tasks which the AUV needs to do. Sea Glide is about making a glide. Uh, Roboboard and Robotics are about making an unmanned surface vehicle, which we have been working on. And in Robotics, it's not just about a surface vehicle, but it also involves. It's basically a whole autonomous marine system, including a surface vehicle and an AUV also, which I think other people might be discussing a little bit later. And we have a few aerial robotics competition and terrestrial robotics competitions. Uh, and yeah, so the past competitions or programs conducted by Robotics. So first one was conducted in 2014. Then they conducted every 2 years, and we had the last robotics competition in 2019, and now we have it. We have the virtual one this year, uh, and I think I'll hand it over to Aditya, who will be taking this forward.
Yeah. Yes, so I will first discuss about virtual robotics competition, which is one of the 3 competitions that we are going to talk today. So this is in a total virtual environment. Can you go to the next slide? I will explain more about. Yeah. So VRX is the tool that we are going to use in this competition. So it is an open source simulation environment. It is basically a gazebo based simulation environment, and it is available in this link that you can see, the GitHub repository. We can download it from there. And yes, the main task here is to develop an autonomous surface vehicle, and they have given a certain set of tasks that we have to carry out. More about that task will be carried out, will be explained later. Yes, can you go to the next one? Yeah.
Oh, 1 second, 1 second. So develop an autonomous service vehicle for a virtual competition?
Sorry, yeah, I think I explained wrongly. They have given a vehicle there directly, a VAM V vehicle. So we are going to use that vehicle for carrying out the tasks. Yes.
Oh, okay. So it is kind of part virtual and part real?
Sorry, sir.
Is it part virtual and part real? Is it like it's actually going to be deployed on real vehicle, or is it completely just virtual environment?
No, it's this competition is totally virtual, totally virtual. Like we don't have to go and test it somewhere. So it is not like
Okay.
that.
So the ASV is also virtual here. Like,
Yes. That is the VAM V vehicle.
I guess you'll be talking more about the details of
Yeah.
the competition a
Yes.
little later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this competition is going to be held in 2022, but more about the timeline will be discussed later. So this competition can broadly be classified into 2 major categories. First, we have to develop the fundamental capabilities of the vehicle, like the lower level of autonomy, which includes the localization, navigation, and perception. And the another task will be to integrate all these lower level of autonomies to combine together and then form a multi-step autonomous operation. And there are certain tasks which will be discussed where we have to use these lower level of autonomies together to carry out the task. Yes, next. I think Vallabh will. Okay, this is deadline. So I have to discuss this. So yes, we are in the month of September. So the software has been released that can be downloaded from the GitHub link. And in October, in the month of October, we have to register for the competition. In the month of December, phase 1 will be completed. In this phase, we have to submit a video of we demonstrating that we can use the software. We have to make a video of that and we have to submit it. In the month of March 2022, there will be a rehearsal of the preliminary solutions that we have found for the task. And then in the month of April, final submission will be there. And yes, one thing that the phase 1 is the entry in the phase 1 is totally free of cost, while phase 2 and phase 3 we have to pay some amount. It is around $300 for entry. Yes, now Vallabh, you can go ahead. Oh, it's Manoranjan, I think.
Sorry, Manoranjan.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so now we look at the different tasks that are in the virtual robotics competition. So the first task that they mentioned is known as the station keeping task. So here the goal is to actually maintain our USV in a given position and heading. And so in this particular task, we have the need to fuse different sensor data such as the GPS and the IMU. And so for this particular task, we actually have, actually they are kind of testing our localization algorithm, and also it slightly involves the control aspect as well. So this is the particular, this is the task one that they have given.
So this is okay. So here is probably a good time to ask this question.
Yes.
This VAMV vehicle is it under actuated or is it fully actuated? Meaning that can it control 3 degrees of freedom fully, or is there a restriction on it?
Okay, I'm not really sure about that. Yeah. Well,
yeah, so in the simulation environment, they have given 3 different configurations for the thrusters of the VAMV. One configuration is in which only aft 2 thrusters are placed on the aft. Another one is there in which 2 at front and like 2 at aft, like 4 total. And another one is there in which 2 thrusters are placed at aft and 1 is placed in the middle, like sideways.
Okay.
They call it the T configuration.
Okay.
So,
oh, that's interesting. So one is under actuated, which means you only have 2 things to control, but 3 degrees of freedom to achieve control on. Whereas the second one is over actuated. You have 4 controls and only 3 things to control. And the last one is fully actuated.
yes.
Okay, interesting. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So the next task is wayfinding. So here they are trying to, here the task is to go to a goal, and they'll be giving the a series of waypoints and the heading values. So for at different locations, they will be giving the different heading values as well. And this task is more of the waypoint follower. And here they are trying to test our control algorithms. So that is the main goal of this particular task.
So what was the deliverable in task 1?
Yeah, task 1, we have to station keep. So we have to remain in a particular position and heading that is subjected to different disturbance forces like wind and waves.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
And is there a restriction on like, so the controller is up to you. You can choose what sort of a controller you want to put.
Yes, that is average. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The second is wayfinding. Okay. So here
so
you want to
giving a series of waypoints and heading angles at that particular point. So our control algorithm should be able to control properly for the different set of waypoints. I mean, as it moves through.
So can I call this path following?
Yeah, correct.
Some sense. Okay.
Yeah, the next task is perception, object localization, and characterization. So here, this task mainly focus just on the computer vision algorithm, and here we have to use different sensors like cameras, lidars, and acoustic receivers, and we have to identify and characterize the obstacle that is front of us. So there may be buoys, there may be an acoustic pinger. So there are a set of objects that they have defined for the competition. That can be anything. So we have to find that particular object and classify that. And this particular algorithm should be robust to different motions of the vehicle and environmental conditions as well. So this whole task mainly focuses on our computer vision algorithm. And I mean computer vision and how we perceive the sensor, how we
Yeah, am I the only one who has lost the video?
Yes. Like Manoranjan is,
My screen has frozen.
yeah.
All right. Okay, but here I think I have a follow-up question. This localization, is it with respect to, so what sensors are they going to give us? Only these three, camera, LiDAR, and sound sensors, or do they have any other additional sensors?
Like these three sensors for perception are there, and then they are giving GPS and IMU also, like that will be used for localization.
Oh, okay, but for perception, only these three, camera,
Yes.
LiDAR, and sound.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's not like these three only, but we can use other also.
No, but it
Like
has
in
to
the
be,
launch file.
no, it has to be the same ones for everybody, right? So, or do you have a choice of 4 or 5 out of which you can choose 3? It's in a
There,
virtual
there are
world.
there are a bunch
Like
of sensors from which you can choose, or based on whatever your requirement is.
yeah, like in the software itself, they have built in the launch files for
Okay.
all of those conditions.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So it
Is
looks like
Manoranjan back?
Manoranjan is out. He will be trying to join back in. I might have had a network issue. Can somebody continue on his slide?
Yes, sir. So like this, I think is he has covered this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you move on? Yeah. So in this wildlife encounter and avoidance, so there will be three animals that they have given. There is a platypus, a turtle, and a crocodile. So in the environment, we have to detect those animals, and then accordingly we have to maneuver around them. Like so, in the robotics actual competition, they have rules like around platypus you have to go clockwise, counterclockwise, or something. They will be giving how you have to maneuver around the one of these animals. You have to detect it, and your path planning should be according to that.
So do we know ahead of time which obstacle is where, or do you have to detect the obstacle, figure out
Detect,
which one it is, and then do what is
yeah,
supposed?
detect and identify all markers.
Ah, okay. So the detection is also a part of the problem.
Yes.
Okay, and like, say, suppose the crocodile, it's under the water. How do you detect it? You can't detect it with a LiDAR.
It's on the surface only there.
Oh,
Like
for the purpose
Like
of this one,
the
it's on.
crocodile, the platypus, they have defined in the environment how it is going to be in
yeah.
the simulation environment.
Okay, all right.
And around each animal, there is a particular way to traverse it. Like for the platypus, you have to go in a clockwise direction. For turtle, you have to go in a counterclockwise direction, like that. They have given in the documentation.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Yes. In this acoustic beacon localization, channel navigation, and obstacle avoidance, like these are combination of tasks. So in this, like all our like the integrated tasks that Aditya mentioned. So localization is also involved. Computer perception is also involved. Path planning and control, all of them are involved. So there will be a navigation channel through which in which also there will be obstacles, and we have to traverse through that to get into this obstacle field, in which somewhere in that obstacle field a sonar sensor will be placed, and that will be emanating sonar, and we have to detect where that is. Once we detect it, we have to reach there and station ourselves, localize ourselves close to that.
Okay, yeah. Looks like Manoranjan is back, but no worries, Manoranjan. I think we saw that, but Vallabh has kind of moved ahead. If you want to take over, you can continue on from here.
Yes, sir, Vallabh can. No issues. We let him continue. Yeah.
Okay. That is not for this. Can you? Yeah. So this is also a mix of the challenges from the previous case. Here it is scan and dock and deliver. So there will be multiple docking bays on which a particular symbol will be there, and each docking bay will have a different symbol, and the USV has to go to a buoy that will project a RGB sequence of sequence of colors, and you have to, with the camera, you have to look at the sequence, and there will be they will give a mapping beforehand to which sequence corresponds to which symbol on the docking base. So once you read the sequence, you have to go to that particular dock, and dock yourself in that region. And there is also an after you dock successfully, you have to exit that dock. And there is also additional points for if you successfully propel a projectile over the this in the docking bay, and there is a hole behind this dock.
Oh, so if you're able to successfully fire it through it, then you get additional points.
Yeah. So in this, we have to look at the docking bay described in their simulation software, how the hole is there and all that.
Okay, exciting. All right.
And yeah, so we have tried this some parts of from the tutorial about in the software. So for example, this Tele Operation is there in one particular map. Can you move on to next slide? Yeah, there is a demo video over here. Yeah, it will start. This is just the Tele Operation thing. There are more tutorials that we have to follow, and then we can also program them, like the commands that.
So what is happening in this Tele Operation? What are you doing exactly?
With keyboard only, we are type.
Like a remote
pressing
control.
keys, and it will moving.
Okay, like a remote control.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if possible, after the presentation, I can show live demo of this.
That would be exciting.
Yes. So if after
presentation, yeah, this actual Tele Operation with the keyboard itself, it is quite hard, to control the USB.
Yes, to control the boat
because of the waves and the disturbance, all that.
Okay.
Yeah, we will show that. For now, so what we have planned for VRX is that our first goal will be to have a good familiarity with all these concepts that will be involved, and then also this software. So they have given some tutorials, but anything additional that we would be required, that we will have to figure out and learn. So the main tasks that include the perception, localization, path planning, and control. So all of these, from these tasks, some specific parts that we have to learn. So we will be focusing on those. The learning is the first aspect, and we plan to get the familiarity of the software by October. So in October, the actual registration of the competition starts. So till then, we have the September month we have for getting familiarity with the software, completing all those tutorials that they have given. And this theory of operation, yeah. So in this, they have described the dynamics that they have used in the plugin that is controlling dynamics, and also the buoyancy and all those plugins.
Oh, so they have given you all the details of the modeling which they are using in the VRX for the vehicle.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. Now moving on, Nimish will discuss about robotics.
Yeah. Uh, can you move on to the next slide? Yeah. So robotics is like the physical competition of virtual robot, this thing. So yeah. So in this, we'll be using they have asked us to use the VAMV 16 as the primary vehicle. So uh, there were registrations for this vehicle, but right now they are closed for the 2022 competition. I think if you still want to participate, I think we'll have to buy them or something. So those details, I'm not very sure. The
What was
UAV,
the last date for this?
I think it was in April.
No, but then I thought these things got extended. Am I wrong, Aditya? After when we were looking at it again recently, I wasn't this registration again open for these?
Like the registration for the competition is maybe open, but the registration for a free that's Bambi vehicle, that is closed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. All right.
So
So
we
they
have
have
to
given a
buy them.
link in the website where we can buy the Bambi vehicle from.
How much does it cost?
We didn't check that, but
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So the UAV will not be given. I think we can use any UAV that we need. Okay, that we can.
You mean
And
the USV, right?
no, so USV is the primary vehicle, and we have to use that, like this model itself. And there is an unmanned aerial vehicle.
Oh, so it's a combination of
Yeah,
USV and UAV.
yeah. So for any of the tasks, it's up to us. Like we can use them both like we can use them both simultaneously, or yeah, it's up to us basically in for this competition. That is, I think, that is the main difference between the virtual one and the actual competition.
No, I think it's much more than that, right? It's kind of. Oh, okay. So you mean to say you're doing the exact same obstacle courses and tasks?
Yeah, the tasks are pretty much similar in both virtual and this competition.
Okay, but here you have to have you can use a cooperative control between the UAV and the USV. That's the only
Yeah,
additional feature which is coming in.
yeah.
Okay.
Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So the competition dates for the next upcoming is like 2022, and it's in November. So the competition structure is like, first we'll have a few qualification challenges. So we need to complete this task one by one, and if you are able to do that, then we'll qualify for semifinals. And semifinals and finals. So semifinals and finals, the task will be like combination of various challenge courses that they have given, and in the semi-final, if we are able to complete these tasks, then we'll move to the finals.
So what is kind of the deliverable here?
Yeah, so we'll go over the tasks after.
Okay.
Yeah, so this challenge tasks, before we attempt any of them, we have to qualify this dynamic and like the static and dynamic test before we can do any of the tasks. Static will be inspection of the vehicle, which will be done by the judges, and then dynamic is for the USV. We have to pass through the start gate and the end gate, and without going out of the boundaries that they have defined. So this is the qualification task to take up any challenge task.
So unless you qualify this, you don't are not eligible to progress to the next one.
Yeah, and this is mandatory every time the vehicle enters the water.
Okay.
And there's go to the next slide. There's a similar task for UAV also. So the task here is like, it will start from the start helipad, and it needs to reach the finish one completely autonomously, and in between it has to scan the arena and capture these images. and after it lands, it should be able to produce these images.
Produce these images meaning?
Like it needs to capture them while it is flying, and we should be able to retrieve those images from the drone.
So
So for
retrieve them to
collecting
where?
points, we have to finally give these images to the judges so that they can give the marks.
No, but where do you show the images?
I think we can show it on a system, something like that. I mean, it's not on the drone. We have to take the data from the drone and show them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
It is
that comes
given.
in a control protocol. They will give a code to the UAV. I'll explain that in the end.
Go ahead, Ashwin. Come again.
Yeah, there is something called communication protocols, which I will explain in the end, and that's how they do marking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So apart from this, there is also a return to home function that the drone needs to have, which should override any other command that we give it. Yeah. So Mansi will continue from here.
Thanks, Amish. So the first challenge task that we need to fulfill is that our our AMS and the UAVs need to be able to enter through specified gates and then exit after the task has been completed. So the setup for this task is in such a way that there are 4 buoys which mark 3 entry and exit gates. So and in each of these 3 gates there is a submerged beacon. So when a UAV is given a signal, when the beacon is active, the UAV needs to detect which gate is the signal coming from, enter through that gate. Then in the course, it has to go around a buoy that is marked, and then after doing that, there'll be another signal, maybe from the same entry gate or from a different gate, and then the submersible needs to exit from that. So this would be the challenge task, but in case of semi-finals and the finals, if we qualify, the task would be just to enter and exit, and it would be clubbed with other tasks for semi-finals. Can you
So
go to
you
the
may necessarily enter from one but exit through another. That's also possible.
That's possible.
Okay.
And in the second task, it's essentially making sure that our AMS follows a particular path and avoids obstacles. The setup for this would be in a way that there are pairs of buoys marked which are marking the path. So our our AMS has to move in this specified path which is between these buoys. And apart from the buoys which mark the area which we have to travel through, there are also obstacles which are marked again by white buoys specifically. And the locations of those specific buoys would change and would be dependent on that day. The task can be done in tandem with both the AMS and UAV, and using the UAV would earn extra points. So the UAV can essentially map the challenges that the AMS is going to face while following the path, and then the AMS has to just cruise through this.
Now comes the task 3, that is a wildlife encounter and fight. So here the UAV will identify the specific object and inform the WAMP to circulate or to avoid it. As you can see in the that for example, in the case of platypus or turtle, it has to circulate, and the circle must be minimum. It should be 360 degrees or greater than it. And some objects, for example, figure of crocodile, it has to pass just a safe distance from it. And to know this, whether that is a signboard will be made in which we have to use the hyperspectral imaging spectroscopy, as RGB cameras will not distinguish between them. So we have to use that to get.
So we have to use a particular type of a cameras, hyperspectral imaging, to identify these obstacles.
Yes, sir. This will be made a signboard of various type, just to know about whether to go in clockwise or to anti-clockwise, or just to maintain a safe distance. It will.
Okay. And also, do they specify a safe distance? How much?
Yes, sir. They will, as they are mentioned in their form, that they will specify it after some time.
Okay.
And the fourth task is to scan the code. So there will be a floating platform with a vertical pole that will display color one by one. The color will be generated first, for example, red. Mainly colors only will be displayed: red, blue, and green. Out of which the first color will decide which maneuvering will have to go on after hours. So we'll go around it or to circulate on clockwise or to anti-clockwise. So we have to report the color sequence.
So you generally encounter this boy before the obstacle is encountered.
Sir, they haven't mentioned it which, which will come first. Just they have mentioned that the pole will display the color one by one, and we have to record it and send it to the via communication system.
Okay.
And there will be a display of light, which the first color will decide what will be the next maneuvering of the vehicle.
So I'm presuming, like, suppose red means clockwise rotation.
Yes, sir.
Or
Yes,
green
red.
means
Sir, red means it has to pass through was through its starboard side. Green means to port side, and blue means it has to circle it on 360 degrees. And if we touch the boy with the vehicle, we will get disqualified.
for the continuation. You will get disqualified and
Yes.
your competition ends there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, so next one, task 5 is the dock and deliver task, which is similar to the one in virtual robotics, except, yeah. So in this one, we have actually real docking stations, 3 identical docking stations, and you can see each docking station is marked with different colored vinyls. They can be either vinyl paper or colored lights. So we will be assigned a colored light in the beginning of the task. We have to successfully detect the docking station with the corresponding to the colored light and dock successfully. After that, above the colored lights, there are two holes. One is a big hole and another one is a small hole. And you're supposed to deliver a payload, which is in this case a racket ball, into any of the holes. So that is basically the dock and deliver task.
So is the size of
Yeah, I'm assuming that if you put in the smaller hole, you get better points.
Of course, but is the whole position known ahead of time? Like, is it going to be a fixed distance from the vinyl or something like that?
So in the description manual, all that's given as this. They haven't specified the heights yet. I'm assuming that they will specify it in future.
Yeah, they probably might not do that. They might want you to detect the hole and then shoot.
Yes. So, and we are also not sure how exactly we are supposed to put the rocket board in there.
Yeah.
Whether we have to have a manipulator on board or some kind of mechanism, that is not sure.
I don't think you have to have a manipulator. I think it is something like.
I think you have to use the AUV to put
Is
it.
it a manipulator drop or is it a projectile? Which one is it?
Yeah, that is not sure.
That's not sure.
So
right.
Next. So in the task 6 is just independent UAV task. You have to do it with the UAV only. So they designed it especially for using the UAV, and you have 2 helipads of these dimensions. And on those helipads, there will be 3 discs of red, blue, and green color. You're supposed to start from the AUV, go to one of the helipads, pick up your specified disc, whether it's red, green, or and then from the helipad, you're supposed to go to another helipad and drop it off. And you can't drop it from a height, you'll have to go and land there and place it properly. This is task 6.
Okay. So you have to really get down and put it. You can't just
Yes, you can't just drop it above. You have to properly land on the helipad and drop it.
Okay.
So this is task 6. Next, this is the situational awareness reporting task. It's not exactly a task. it's like addition to all the tasks where you have to report everything that you're doing to the control panel or the judges. So the technical director will issue a tethered communication to your vehicle, and through that through an IP communication, you have to be constantly sending signals to the technical director where your UAV is, where your both the vehicles is. What
Did you
is
say tethered?
yes?
Did you say tethered? It's going to be tethered?
Yeah, it's tethered to the.
So you have literally a hanging wire which is going along with the USB?
Yeah, you have a tethered connection connected to the USB.
As you go around doing all your tasks?
Yes, I think it's a tethered connection. I'm not sure, but I think it's a tethered.
No, I'm just wondering, suppose you're doing a 360 around an obstacle.
Yeah.
Ashwin, I
It may not be tethered. I'm not sure, but I know it's an IP communication. So you'll have to send a string of digits describing your latitude, longitude, weather, and all the obstacles will also have some kind of marker. So if you reach some kind of goal point, you'll have to send signal to the technical director that you reached this point. Only then will you be assigned marks. So this is just for judging. And there's also something called a heartbeat system, which is in case of to monitor how your vehicle is, whether if it's going to go out of control or something.
All right. Nimesh, you were about to say something?
Yes, sir. I think this IP means we can use this Wi-Fi routers probably. It need not to be tethered. So
could be.
Yes, like I remember reading in that at your station, wherever your team is supposed to stay, they will be providing Wi-Fi connections.
Right. So it will be over Wi-Fi, and then you will be connected to this technical director.
It's TCP or
Yes.
Wi-Fi. Yes.
Okay.
It's not tethered.
Yeah, so these are like things, project deliverables that they have mentioned. So we have to write a technical design paper describing how we are basically our design of both the UAV and the USV.
But you're not doing the design of UAV and USV, isn't it? You're using the VAM-V.
Yeah, like not the design of the vehicle, but our control algorithms and.
Okay, so your algorithm design is what they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they have even asked us to make a website to show like all our things. I'm not sure exactly what we have to put on the website, but there's a requirement for a website. And there's a design documentation presentation which we have to give through video, and basically explaining all the design things that we have done. And there'll be a system inspection at the competition, checking all our systems, like how they're designed, their aesthetics and everything. Yeah, so what we think from this is like we should first participate in VRX, and then like because they're pretty much similar, we'll get some experience once we participate in VRX, and then we can learn from there and then move on, like then participate in this competition.
So am I to understand that you guys don't want to participate in robotics this time?
Like since this competition, the next one is in 2022, we all felt that's slightly difficult to participate in that, but 2024 is achievable.
2022?
It's held every 2 years.
It's held every 2 years. Okay, so you may I ask, just for my curiosity here, why you guys don't want to participate in the Robotics 2022? Of course, one aspect is that the vehicle is not available. Other than that, what else is stopping you?
Other competition.
Sorry, come again, Aradhya?
There's one more competition
Which one?
Roboboard.
Roboboard. It is very similar to this thing only, and it
Okay.
has some additional task also. So, and that competition doesn't have a specific requirement, like a specific vehicle we have to use. We have to build our own from scratch based on whatever requirements they have given to us.
Okay.
So we can either take Robotics or Roboboard, any one of those, because our team size is also limited.
I thought it would be better for robotics, right? Because the vehicle, if it is already there, if the vehicle is available, wouldn't it be better to participate with robotics rather than try to build a new one altogether from scratch? That sounds like more effort, isn't it?
But aren't we building a vehicle already?
We are building a vehicle, but I don't think you can use that vehicle over there.
No, sir, we won't be able to use that vehicle for the Roboboard competition. That has some restrictions.
Yes, and I don't think 3 meters would be allowed in most of these
No,
competitions.
sir. Yeah, they allow maximum of 6 feet.
Yeah, so there is a restriction there. So if a vehicle is actually available with VAMV, that might be a better way to go, probably. What do you guys
Yes,
think?
sir. Yes, if the vehicle is available, then yeah.
Okay. Why don't you guys write to them?
Yeah, we could get a quote. If we have to buy the vehicle, we could get a quote from them.
No. Why don't you write to the competition people asking them whether they can lend one for you? You are a little late, but you would really like to participate. Try it out first.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Let them first say no, and then we can think about buying the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Right? So let's first go through with that. What do you think? Yes?
Yes, sir.
I'm not seeing any faces. All right, can I see some faces so that I know, am I just talking or am I getting a nod from the others?
Sir, I'm nodding. Wait.
You're nodding? I can't see you nodding though. Now you got to nod now, right, Aradhya?
Yes, sir.
All right, but what I think is it's much better to try out if such a vehicle is available. It might be worthwhile to try in the robotics. There you don't have to develop the vehicle from scratch. What do you think, Avanish?
Yes, sir. That's true, because developing vehicle from scratch, then we won't be able to focus on the algorithm side, and this looks more of algorithm oriented.
Correct.
Rather than so. And of course, I mean, it's not that easy. That developing those algorithm, of course, will take time. So definitely, if we have ready-made vehicle, that's the best thing to go for.
Right. So what I would suggest is you guys should write to the concerned authorities to ask and see whether such a vehicle can be still sourced. You understand that you are late, but you're really interested in the competition, then you should make a pressing case, right? How pressing, it depends on how pressing you are actually feeling to participate in the competition. Okay, all right. Is that the end of the presentation or do we have anything more?
We have more, sir.
Oh, so please go on.
Yeah. So I guess Sanjeev, you can move on with yours, Roboboard.
Yeah, Krishna Veda will talk first about the Roboboard.
Yeah. Roboboard competition, it's basically generally for the ASP design competition. These competitions will be conducted for each and every year. Okay, next slide. So what is Roboboard is? It is the international student competition. The students are coming from the around many countries from around the world. So our objective is to design and build the autonomous and robotic boats and ASVs to navigate through a challenging course. So we are first designing the boat and the design and the building. So what we are to achieve, we are trying to mimic the real world challenges facing in the maritime industry. So those challenges are coastal surveillance, port security, and other type of oceanographic operations. What we are gaining from this, the participations are gaining from this competition is the real world exposure by tackling the big port challenges seen in the robotics industry. Next one. The Roboboard 2021 online is already done. It's the timeline. It shows the timeline registrations for. In the initial registration is April, and the submission deadline is the May, and result announced in the June. These other subjects were discussed in the next slide.
So this is already over, Roboboard 2021.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When is the next one? Is it an annual event or is it like a biannual event?
So
Yes,
I
sir,
think it's an
previously-
annual event, but for the next year, they have not yet released the details. So far, it has been happening every year.
Okay.
Yes. The skill videos, there are some format is also available. The submission format is, we are trying to make videos of the 1 or 2 short videos. Each videos is less than 11 minutes. These 2 short videos are include the 4 contents like hull design, power management, propulsion system, and other and sensor optimization. We need to have the strong communication skills because we have to deliver our ideas in a clear and convincing manner to the project supporters, such as advisor, supervisor, and sponsors. We need to make some series of short technical videos. Those videos to show that a team approach, decision, and challenges while evaluating ability to communicate effectively. So the next one is technical design report. So the technical design report is it is for the outline of.
One second here. So these skill videos, how do you demonstrate approach and decision and challenges in a video? I'm not quite sure I understood that.
Sir, how to we are making the hull design and the propulsion? Those part we are capture the videos.
So it's basically the members will be talking in the video and kind of talking about how they solve certain problems.
It's maybe there, sir. There are some 2021 videos are available in the YouTube, sir. The Robot Nation channels.
Yes, it's basically about it. You have to explain everything related to your hull design. Then you have to show all the simulations that you will do before you make your final ASV, and you have to upload a video about that.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Yes, sir. And then outline for the design and approaches are required. And the format is we need the page limiters are the 10 and the Times New Roman in the font size 12, and the file format is the PDF, and the style is for the IEEE conference style. So this technical reports need the 6 mandatory section and another one mandatory section. In the 6 mandatory section includes our abstract competition strategy, design creativity, experimental results, acknowledgement and reference. And another one mandatory.
You have to kind of document whatever you talked in the videos. You have to document it into a report and give it to them.
Yes.
Okay.
And also we need to detailedly describe our team design choice and efforts in the design report. And what are the strategies are required for this purpose. Next one. Yeah, the websites. The purpose of the website is it is a first impression to give the potential of the supporters, and the content. Website content.
You have to create a website.
Maybe so.
No. Is this website something which is a part of the challenge? Like in the previous one, you have to create a website for your team?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. The website contents are the layout and the detailed content of the website. There are some minimum informations we need to include. Those are the team information and with the details and team member information details. And we made we need to take pictures, videos, what we are at the time of the during development and the testing of the vessels. And we are listed the sponsors with their logos. And next, the recently introduced in 2021 is the optional demonstration video. Because in the quarantine period, there are the participant does not have the equality of opportunities. Therefore, these options are giving in this time. It means we are make some video in the less than duration of 20 minutes, and we can show that our vehicle performance, vehicle behavior. That's is one of the new for this year. Yes, achievement.
Yes, sir. So these are the basic requirements for the vehicle to be eligible for the competition. So it has to be able to completely operate autonomously. So it has to be able to communicate with the UAV in case we are the UAV challenge is optional, but yeah, that's also there. And it has to have a kill switch. There are some safety requirements they mentioned. We have to follow that too. And then it has to also be towable, and it has to have a kill switch in order to get it back to the dock. So, and we should also be able to fit a camera on the vehicle. Next stage.
So we need a camera also on the vehicle. All right, visual feed.
Yes. And these are the vehicle requirements. So the dimensions they mentioned, it has to be less than 6 feet. The length has to be less than 6 feet, and it has to be less than 3 feet wide. And so far, so 2021 it was held online. So only the skill videos and the design reports were held. But in case it is going to be held on site, there are certain operational tasks the vehicle has to perform on which it will be scored. And they measure the thrust and the weight, and they have mentioned the scoring system for that. And on the next slide, I mentioned the other operational tasks. Next slide. Yeah, so these are the operational tasks in case the competition is happening on site. So most of these tasks are very similar to what we saw in the robotics competition. The speed gate task, it basically measures the efficiency of the hull form. So as you can see in this image, it has to reach a buoy and then it has to come back and be measured based on the speed with which completes the task. And the object delivery task can be done with the ASV or with the combination of ASV and the UAV. That's optional. The other tasks are very similar to what we saw in the robotics competition. That's it. Now, Aradhi will talk about planning.
So, as per our previous slides and as per our previous competitions, what I think that the current requirements for Roboboards lie somewhere in between VRX and Robotics. In case a competition held online, our requirements are very similar to VRX, and we can participate in both competitions simultaneously. But in case it's an offline competition, we have to work a lot on design and other aspects of ASV as well as its integration with UAV. Also, they have specified a certain communication protocol in which they want our system to communicate not only with the USV, but also it should be able to communicate with their server, and all the logs that our USV is going to give us should go to their server directly, so they can verify it and score based on that.
This seems very similar to what we saw in the other one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but this competition is timed. Like they impose penalty. In other competition, they'll disqualify if you hit a boy or something. But in this one, they impose penalties based on your collision, and it's also timed. So you have to complete all the tasks within a certain amount of time. If you fail to do so, then they'll only grade you based on the task or whatever task you have done.
So time was not a factor in the previous one.
In previous one, as much as I read, there is time for every task. In this competition, you have to complete all the task within a given time. So you can distribute it accordingly as per your need, or even if you not complete all those tasks, they'll grade you based on whatever you have done.
No. In the previous one, there is no time requirement. You can take as much time as you want to complete the task.
Yes, sir. They haven't really mentioned anything regarding that.
So the effectiveness of the task there they expect will probably be higher because time is not a constraint. Whereas here it seems like the time is also a big thing which you have to optimize together with how accurately you want to go ahead with it.
Yes, sir. So our current objectives includes learning about all these things that we are gonna do in VRX. That includes perception, localization, path planning, and control. And we also have access to other previous year winning teams technical reports and their other documents. So we plan to go through all those documents in order to get a rough idea of how they proceeded with the idea and how we can integrate and modify as per our need. We also have to look up onto how we are gonna if we are gonna put a UAV system in it, how we are gonna integrate it, and in what all tasks we can utilize it effectively, because since again time is a constraint. And then also some binge
But
watching
here
on
you
YouTube.
have to build it, right? You have to build the UAV and you ASV from scratch.
UAV, they haven't mentioned any specific requirements, so I think we can
Yes, so
use.
the UAV challenge is optional. We can just build the ASV and still take it to the competition.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but ASV has to be built, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I can't just buy a commercially off-the-shelf available USV and just use it for my competition. That's not allowed.
No, sir.
But that may be allowed in the previous one.
Yeah, previous one it is
Yes, sir.
allowed.
The robotics. Yes.
Okay.
So
All right, go ahead.
that's it. That's our participation planning. And as we have discussed yesterday, all of us, we decided our first priority should be VRX going ahead, because it's virtual and we have enough time for to prepare for it and make all those, do all those simulations. And then we thought if a Robobot is gonna happen online, then we can focus on that in 2022. Otherwise, we have to push it to 2023 or 2024. And our third priority was Robotics. But since you said if we will be able to get our hands on the vehicle, then we might be able to do it in 2022 itself.
Yeah, it's a chance. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, is what my point is. Okay. That's the end of the presentation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Maybe Vishwa, we can stop presenting and I would like to see everybody's faces again. All right, Avanish, what do you think? You were involved with the AMOG with a little bit, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
So is the timeline which the boys are trying to come up with, boys and girls are trying to come up with, is right, or is it looking a little wrong?
No, that the VRX I think is quite achievable up to some extent. I'm not sure that up to what extent we can achieve, but I think it's because mostly to play with software, I think you guys are already experts, so that is achievable. But yeah, going for this Robotax is bit, I mean, I don't know, sir, because it requires both things. The hardware part, you have to be very, the communication has to be very robust and all, so you have to work along with hardware plus software, which is quite a tight uh, deadline. I mean that 2022, right? So it will be difficult. And Robobot, yes, I think it's quite interesting because we all are like involved in the ocean engineering department. We do things from scratch. So even by 2022 we will be able to play with the vehicles. I mean, if we start now.
But don't you think Robotics is actually more realizable than Roboboat? You have to actually build a boat there, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But that's what. If we are getting that vehicle, then it's fine. But if not, then I think it's better to target this one. By the time we'll be having all our algorithm tested in 2024, probably in one shot we'll go and just win the competition.
I'm not looking at this as to win the competition. I want to participate every
No,
time.
I mean,
That's what I'm looking at. Right?
Because as they are saying that they have very tight this one. So if you hit the buoy, you will be disqualified. So I don't think that's a good thing to do, because I don't know why they are doing that way. They can put penalties, but they cannot just disqualify people. So.
Well, I mean, the competition rules are the rules. You can't play with them.
Yeah.
It's for everybody, right?
So yes, so that's what, sir. If we have, because sir, even if we are getting this vehicle, I don't know how much time we'll be having to play with it. But if with the Roboboat, if you have your own vehicle, you play with it, you make sure you build your confidence, and then probably we can do that way. So that's what I mean, even with the Amog, we started. I mean, they started from scratch, and then they started building, and slowly they started one by one achieving the targets. And yeah, before they I mean they stopped it. I think they reached to semi-finals or so. So it was quite big achievement for them.
Yeah, for me, what is the achievement is winning the competition is always definitely good, but participating in it itself brings about a requirement that you have to work as a team, you have to work together and try to bring all the different skill sets together, have to look at integration across multiple disciplines, which makes it, I think, very exciting. I think the
Yes,
excitement
yes.
is in the part much ahead of the competition is much more than it kind of culminates at it when you go there, but a bunch of the excitement actually does happen when you keep working on it here. I think that's what it is for.
Yes, sir. But once you are involved in this competition, so the mindset changes, and the focus always be towards winning. So as
Of
I
course.
think of it, and this young
Oh,
guys, I mean,
it has
this
to
young
be.
guys, they want to win, and when something won't go in a right way, they I mean, it hurts to them very like hard. So
It's
it's
okay.
that's what,
It's
yeah.
a part of building sportsmanship spirit.
Yes, yes.
A little bit. Okay. So, all right. So, I want to ask the team. So, how do you want to go about this? Which one first? Which one next? How do you want to go about it?
Sir, I think first we should definitely look at VRX because
Okay.
that will give us a lot of experience. We'll be able to develop our algorithms and all. And maybe simultaneously we can look at Robotics if it's possible to participate in 2022 or Roboboard.
The only thing is, if you want to really participate in RoboX, then somebody who is communicating with the people there and trying to fetch the vehicle has to be really persuasive. They really need to be coercive.
Yeah.
Only then will it work. Okay? You're a guy who will not take no for an answer, then you're the guy for it. Okay? You
Sir,
have
I
to be
think
persistent at it.
it's quite difficult because even the people who have applied, I don't think they're going to give it to everyone.
Possibly.
It says that results will be announced in July or something. I'm not sure if it is July 2021 or 2022.
Must be 22 because 21 is already over.
Yeah.
Right? I think check whether the deadlines have not been extended due to this COVID.
For this FAMV, I think they have not because it says application is now closed.
So
But I
then
think we can still register for
one of the trump cards to play.
Yeah, I guess, but we can still register for the competition because it
So if
has.
you register for the competition, maybe try to find out also on that aspect that if you do register for the competition and you want to procure your own vehicle, does it exactly have to be VAMV or does it have to be any other vehicle? I think it will probably have to be VAMV in order for it to be fair to everybody.
Yes.
Right? So if it is VAMV, how much is the cost? What is the price? So let's try to take a look at that. Yeah, so I think Aditya has shared a link, isn't it?
So the timeline is mentioned there about the WAMV application.
Where?
In the link,
30th April, extended till 3rd May 2021.
yes. So
It's extended and over.
and the results are
notified. So that has already happened then. Right?
Yes.
But does it hurt to try to write and find out whether there is still a chance? Okay. So VRX, you guys want to definitely participate. Is that my understanding right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if we are getting the vehicle Robotics, if we are not getting the vehicle, you want to try for RoboSub.
Roboboard.
Roboboard, right? Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. But Roboboard will be in 2022. Which month is it held?
They have not given the dates.
When was it held last time?
It's March. It starts from 29th March to June.
29 March to June.
Yeah. On I think 16th of June they have their award ceremony last time. So yeah, that's the duration.
I think the timeline is very tight then.
Like last year it was online only, so all of those things
So you
happened.
don't have to make everything.
No, but even if it is online, they built the boards, didn't they?
Not necessary. It's like you can show them CAD models and your simulations. That was sufficient for last year.
Oh,
Like the
okay.
video of the demonstrations was optional last year.
Okay, all right. Video of the demonstration was optional. Okay, so therefore that is why I think you're trying to aim at VFX first, then that Roboboard next, and then if possible you want to go for the robotics. Okay, sounds good. Now, how many people would you need? What is the maximum size of a team allowed? What is the minimum size of a team allowed? And does it have to be undergraduate students only, or does it have to be graduates and undergraduates together, or can it also include postdoctoral students?
Roboboard.
So for Roboboard, actually, we can include people from the industry or academics also. The only restriction was that at least 75% of the team should be students. That's
Should be students. That's for Roboboard. Okay.
We mandatorily need to have someone from the industry
in Roboboard.
Yeah, I mean it can be someone who was in the team and has graduated and still working in the team, but we need to have someone.
Okay, all right, that can be arranged. That's not a problem. Okay, so sounds good. So I kind of like the idea of everything putting together, but you guys tell me, how do we go forward with this? You guys given any thought to how we should take it forward? How many people we require?
So we thought that we should first talk to a few teams which have already participated in these competitions, just to get an idea like how they've done it, what their team structure is and all.
Okay.
Then based from that, we can proceed to decide.
Okay. All
how
right.
we should build our team and all.
Okay. So then you should try to get in touch with those guys, right? I think I can stop recording here. This is just discussion now. So